moving the zip around slowly so it got to the thing. But by that point, your arms should be like this. There is no way that you could close a padlock, you guys, from the outside while you're inside. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel and welcome back to another True Crime Sunday. Now before we get started, I'm just going to give a little bit of a plug to my Wednesday videos. I do story times, I do mukbangs, not just a true crime YouTuber, although I do this every single Sunday, so if you do like that, go ahead and click subscribe. I also do story times. So I do story times on everything. I'm starting to read like other people's Reddit story times because I think that there are some pretty hectic ones. I've recently done a Valentine's Day one. Now, I will still forever and ever tell you guys my story times from my real life experiences, but since I've been doing that, you guys have said you like the way I tell stories, and so I've decided to start telling other people's stories. So if you have an experience, whether you've been cheated on, it's a paranormal experience, something crazy has happened to you, or you've got a story time that you don't want to go on the internet and tell people about, I will keep everything anonymous and I will tell your story. So the email to submit your story is down below. Make sure you include every single detail, all the screenshots if you have them. Cross out any names, any numbers, and any photos. But anyways, the email is submitstorytime@gmail.com. I will put the actual email in the description below if I'm saying it wrong, but that's where it is. But today's True Crime Sunday is seriously freaky, you guys. It is freaky. Let's just jump right on into the case because I don't know how to intro this case. It's seriously freaky. Today we're going to be talking about Gareth Williams. There is not a lot. There is not a lot on this case, and I actually found his name through a Reddit post of someone being like, yo, you guys, this is seriously creepy. There's something wrong here. We're missing a lot of information, basically. And that might be due to the nature of Gareth's work, which we'll get into in a second. But damn, this case has been buried. Gareth Williams was a mathematician, and he was also an agent for a secret intelligence service, also known as MI6. There's like, in this story, I don't know a lot about American Secret Service type stuff. Listen, I like conspiracies, but I have not deep dived into that. So Ben, if you're watching this from stuff that I want you to know, if I'm saying any of this wrong, listen, don't be judging me because I haven't deep dived into this. But anyways, there's like MI6, MI5, SO15, all of these things are in this case. And I'm just assuming they're all like the same thing, but they're just like working on different projects. Anyways, he predominantly worked for MI6 and MI5. This dude was incredibly smart. Gareth, I'm sorry I called you dude, man. Listen, this dude was smart. So, Gareth passed his GCSE at the age of 10. He passed his A-levels at the age of 14 years old. And he graduated with a first-class degree at the age of 17 years old. He got his PhD from the University of Manchester. But other than his, like, brainiac, super overachiever, amazing brain vibe that he has going on, he's also like an avid cyclist. Like, cycling is life. He loved cycling. He also loved art. He seemed like the kind of guy who didn't really care about what other people thought of him. He just wanted to feed his brain. He needed to feed his brain with like arts, exercise, math, designing. Like, he overachieved in every single aspect of his life from my point of view. So his current project with MI6, I believe it was Russian stuff. He was looking into money laundering, but specifically to Moscow mafia related, like what is it called? Like mafia cells. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was looking at the trafficking routes of like a Moscow based mafia thing. He was basically looking into organized crime. He was supposed to be returning from annual leave. He was working for MI5 and then he was doing some projects for MI6. But in all the reports that I've read, he didn't show up for work for about 7 days with MI5. MI5, in the reports that I have read, if an agent goes missing or doesn't have contact with MI5, that's when alarms are supposed to go off, but it took them 7 days to ask for a welfare check. But after 7 days, a welfare check was done. At the time, Gareth was living in a security safe house, and this was in London. The police did a welfare check, but they couldn't get in through the door. They had to go in through through the roof route or something like that, but they got into the security safe house. They found Gareth, but they found him specifically curled up naked inside a North Face red gym bag, which had been padlocked from the outside, placed in a bathtub that had been wiped down. There was no DNA, no fingerprints, no palm prints, no boot prints on anywhere involving the bath. There was nothing on the padlock. There was nothing on the zipper of the bag. There was nothing on the bag. The key, you guys. The key to the padlock, which was locked from the outside, was placed inside the bag underneath his body. The death was marked as unusual and possibly criminally related. He was found 1 week after he passed away. Guys, 1 week is 7 days. Know what I'm saying? So like, he was absent from MI5 for 7 days, and he was found 7 days after passing. And you guys, at the time that he was found, the weather, like, it was hot. There was no need for the thermostat to be turned up this high. The thermostat was turned up so high that, like, it was hot in there, and it furthered or sped up decomp. There were no sign of any injuries. There was no sign of a struggle. There was no alcohol in his system. There were no drugs in his system. And because decomp had progressed so much, there was no clear sign of how he had passed. When I first heard of this case, the Redditor who posted his name, he said that there was like crazy fetish bondage and stuff. But when I did my own research on this case, the investigation said that when they looked through all of the website history of Gareth's computer, they said that yes, once in a while there was some pornography that was bondage related, but they were so scarce and few between and sporadic that it was kind of just like he had clicked on whatever was there and it happened to be bondage. There was absolutely no indication or any sign that he was into any sort of fetish that involved claustrophobic things, because that's a thing, some people like that, but there was nothing to indicate that any of that he was interested in it. Sometimes you'll be on there and it'll be like whatever you click. I mean, sometimes it'll be freaky stuff, but it's like, I didn't actively seek this out. It was just on there and I just clicked on it. You know what I'm saying? There was over $36,000 worth of women's clothing found in the safe house. Also, this bag situation is like, how could somebody padlock themselves from the inside? Because, okay, you got a gym bag. All right, and even if it's a massive gym bag, it's still going to have trouble fitting my whole entire person in this gym bag. And I can kind of, I could kind of see how he might have zipped himself in there by just moving the zip around slowly so it got to the thing. But by that point, your arms should be like this. There is no way that you could close a padlock, you guys, from the outside while you're inside. So initially an expert was brought in to examine the bag, and they said that there was absolutely no possible way that Gareth could have padlocked himself in this bag on his own. The expert stated that if Gareth was alive when he got into the bag, he did so voluntarily because there was no signs on his body of a struggle or anything like that. They said if he got into the bag involuntarily, he would have had to have been unconscious, passed out. So that's when an inquest came about. And due to the sensitive nature of Gareth's working with the NSA, the FBI, all of these secret intelligence services came together with the Metro Police and were basically like, listen, you can't release anything to do with what Gareth was working on. And the Metro Police were like, okay, sure. And they did whatever the Secret Service people said. And because he had worked with so many different secret intelligence services, all of them had their own kind of investigation. Like, they were working together, but there were also separate investigations. So there were 2 experts brought into the inquests, and both of them did about 400 attempts to try and lock themselves into a gym bag in the same way that Gareth was locked into the gym bag, to see if they could do it themselves from the inside, as in locking the padlock from the outside but from the inside. You know what I'm saying? And they could not do it. There were 400 attempts, you guys. 2 experts tried to do it. They couldn't. Experts say that he likely died of hypercapnia, which is carbon dioxide poisoning. They said that he would have died within 2 to 3 minutes of being in the bag. So if you don't know what an inquest is, we spoke about what this was in one of my previous cases, but basically the coroner is like, kind of like the judge. They're deciding what the next step is in investigations, and the coroner rejected the idea that Gareth killed himself. They were like, it's just not possible. They also said that, like, they critiqued different Secret Service agencies for possible involvement in Gareth's death, because it's just freaky. You know what I'm saying? So the coroner rejected the idea of suicide. She said absolutely not, he didn't kill himself. She rejected the idea that he was cross-dressing. She rejected the idea that he was into any sort of fetish thing. And she also critiqued specific intelligence services for having possible involvement in his passing. Not only did she critique the Secret Service agencies, she also came for the Metro Police, because the Metro Police leaked information to the press to make the press think that Gareth died because he was some fetish cross-dresser, when in fact the female clothing that was found at Gareth's safe house was actually belonging to Gareth, but he wasn't a cross-dresser. He was actually a designer. So he never told his bosses any of this, but he was taking 2 designing courses, 2 fashion designing courses, while also being an agent. He is the type of guy who's trying to overachieve in all of his stuff. It seems like this guy is just feeding his brain. He is taking things from like art, smart stuff, mathematics, culture, everything, cycling. You know, he's got other interests other than Russian stuff. So the coroner was basically like, listen, you guys, y'all shouldn't have done that. You guys are trying to deceive the media. For what reason, I don't know, but stop doing that. And then on top of all of this, she also critiqued SO15's, like, I don't know what they are, SO15. I'm assuming it's another agency, or it's like a branch off of the agencies that are supposed to investigate the agencies when something goes wrong within an agency. But she said that SO15 did a horrible job at taking formal statements from SIS and from the Metro Police. And on top of this, you guys, on top of this, by the time the main investigation people got to the scene, the door had been removed. All of the locks had been removed. And on top of that, there was contamination on the body from one of the forensic people. So this investigation from the outset was either really poorly done or really smartly covered up. You guys, I'm sorry, but there is another one. SO15 also failed to bring forward 9 memory sticks that were found in Gareth's work locker. Something to know about, you know, MI6, MI5, all of these different services are that you are not allowed to have USBs. They're prohibited. And in the statement that they released, it said that you can't have USBs because not only can you take information from MI6, but you can also plant information. So they have no idea how he would have gotten them past security, 1, let alone the 9 that were found in his locker. But that's a little bit suspicious. And this was another huge reason as to why the coroner was like, Don't know why you guys didn't bring this evidence to light earlier when you were supposed to, but this is a huge reason as to why she believes that there is, you know, possible involvement with one of these agencies in his passing. So she rules that this is an unusual death and there is possible involvement with Secret Service agents or the agency as a whole. She says that there needs to be another investigation. So after she rules that there needs to be another investigation, Metro Police take over and continue it for another 12 months. So in this 12 months of investigating, the Metro Police were given unprecedented access to all MI6 agents. And then after 12 months, they came out and they said, we have no new information and we're ruling this as suicide. We're gonna say that he killed himself. Even though the original ruling was that suicide was impossible. Gareth's family are adamant that at least one of these Secret Service agencies is involved in Gareth's passing. In September and October of 2015, a former KGB agent came out and said that Gareth was murdered by the SVR. He said that the reason that SVR got involved in the first place was because Gareth had uncovered one of their spies in an American intelligence agency and he was about to reveal who it was. He said that to protect their undercover agent, Gareth needed to be exterminated. He said they used an untraceable poison and it was injected into his ear. I have so many questions about this, but I struggle to, like, I don't know if I believe it was an American intelligence agency or if it was a Russian intelligence agency, but I know one of them was involved, or at least that's what I'm thinking in my head. Let me know what you guys think down below. This one's freaky, man. Like, there was no fingerprints on the padlock, on the zipper. The key was placed underneath his naked, curled up body. It was placed in a bathtub. There was no DNA anywhere. The door was removed. The locks were removed. The scene was contaminated. Weirdly, he wasn't reported missing until like 7 days later. There were 9 memory sticks found. Like, how would he get even one past security? Were those memory sticks even his, or were they just stuff to make him look bad? I have no idea. Let me know what you guys think down below. Give this video a thumbs up. I do True Crime Sundays every single Sunday. Again, if you have a story time that you would like me to tell, send it to the email that is in the description box below with all your evidence. Don't leave out any details. Don't leave it out. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like my vibe, please click subscribe and I will see you in the next one.